Hi everybody, Dan Tyler here again. I hope you're all well. I just thought this would be a good time to do a market update from my previous video on USD Swiss franc. If you haven't watched that video already, go ahead and do so because it kind of goes over the analysis that I've already previously done. And this is just going to be an update of where the market's gone and what my strategy will be for the next coming week or two, or even more. So let's just get straight into it, I guess. I've already put all my channels and stuff in just to save that little bit of time. And we always start off on our weekly charts. Make sure that we always start off with that rule-based approach, and make sure that we always have a process to what we're doing. So we can see that the USD Swiss franc, in my last video, I explained that it was approaching this channel support line. And because it's when we take a zoom out, we can see that it's been ranging for a few years now. And as it's just been ranging, we didn't expect it to really come down here or up here. So when we see where it's been reacting at its lows, you can see it's reacting here, 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 and here. And sometimes it can overextend itself. And what I basically explained was I felt that the USD Swiss franc was going to have a touch off of this channel support line, maybe overextend itself, and then we could be in the midst of having a reversal going upwards. A really good way to spot this is through the London Trading Institute indicators. So if I put on our weekly levels, which is just support and resistance levels here, we can see, especially when we zoom out, that the market has just stayed within this range for years. And last week and the week before, we were quite quickly approaching this low down here, and we had actually already broken that, but we can see that the market had overextended itself before. So we did expect that slight little overextension from the break of this low here and a touch off of this channel support. You can see as the week ended, with the week just gone, that we have had a really nice rejection off of that channel support line. So I think this is actually a really good opportunity to potentially think about having a short, looking at long positions. Sorry. So then we can go down into our daily. This is the same channel. You can just see in more detail, do your candlestick analysis just to see exactly what's going on. So we can see here actually that we did have that break of the channel support line, and instantly, as soon as we broke it, we re-entered it. So what this is basically here is this is what we call a fake break. It had broken the channel support line and instantly re-entered it. And this is great confirmation that this is kind of looking to go up. And this kind of confirms that we're looking for potential buy positions now. In the week, I did expect it to kind of reach this line a little bit quicker and have a bit more of a reaction, but it wasn't only until the last day of the week where we started to see that rejection there. As we can see, this was the Friday candle. Then again, what I always do is I just double check to see if we are in any downtrend or anything. I know that overall we're in a ranging market, but we can still potentially see if we've got any trend lines, and we can spot those through the London Trading Institute indicators. Yeah, so we'll just discard those at the moment. It's always good just to double check, as sometimes they can become very, very useful. But that's kind of what I expected, as we have been slightly ranging recently. Then what we can do is put in our daily support and resistance levels. Then we can double check to see if we are at any reversal point, or even if there's room for movement. We don't necessarily need to look for points of contact, but if there's support and resistance lines that are completely spaced out from each other, then that's a really good indication that the market actually has room to move, which is brilliant. So I'll put in the daily support and resistance lines, And we can see here that we have broken this level, which is what we did towards the back end of the week before. And we are on our way going back up. So there is actually a good few days room for movement to at least come back up to this level. And I do, as we are in a ranging market, I do expect this level to potentially break, retest, and continue going up. As just to clarify, when we do zoom out, we've been doing this for years, remember. We've been going up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. We've reached this point again, and eventually we will expect to come anywhere up until up to this area. So then that's really what all I'm going to do for the daily at the moment, and then we can go into our 4 hour. So our 4 hour, I know that we have been in quite a steep downtrend recently, and this is how I'm going to be approaching this currency over the next couple of weeks or so. A great way to show whether there's a downtrend or not, again, is through the London Institute trend lines. And I'll put the correct ones on here. Perfect. And we can see that we have some really nice clear trend lines. I'll make sure that I actually beef these up a little bit for you so you can actually see them on the screen. So this is a back-tested strategy from Andy. And if you draw your trend lines like these, which is wick to wick from the very top of a trend to wherever the trend is going, if you draw it wick to wick, if you see any breaks of a trend line, we'll do this one as well. If you see any breaks of a trend line, there's an 80% chance that price is going to touch the next trend line. So we can see here that again, towards the back end of last week, we finally got a break of these inner trend lines here. And that means there's an 80% chance of price coming up to this trend line. And again, if this trend line breaks, there's an 80% chance at some point of price coming to touch this trend. And because on the weekly and the daily, it looks like we're in some sort of reversal movement, I expect actually quite a few of these trend lines to break, if I'm honest. We obviously have to analyze price action and do our candlestick analysis when it does get closer to these sorts of levels, as anything can happen in the market. But as we're in that range, it'll be really nice to see breaks and retests of these trend lines just for it to keep going up and up and up. So at the moment, we're in this sort of area here, definitely an 80% chance of heading to this sort of this trend line here. And what I'd like to see is a break, retest, and go up. And the way that I'm strategizing around this currency pair is I'm going to wait for the break of these trend lines, and I'm going to use our Fibonacci tool, because on the break of these trend lines, I also like to use moving averages as well. But because we've been in a range, especially on higher time frames, I haven't used them that much on this currency. But for the sometimes I go on to the 15-minute, because with these movements, there's not a lot of room for movement. I mean, there is here, but on the 15-minute chart using the Fibonacci, I feel like I'll be able to just get a few more positions in and kind of make the most out of a relatively small movement relative to larger scale movements here. So what I'll do is I'll put in my downtrend lines again, just so you guys can see it for context. Right, so on the 15-minute, obviously we've had the break of these inner trend lines here. We do have another one here, but I'm not going to fill that one out. This one's irrelevant now. And we're actually starting to have a crossover of the 50 and the 200 EMA on the 15-minute time frame. And something that I really like to do is, as we're potentially starting a new uptrend, we've got a swing low here, a swing low here, and a swing low here, and we're constantly making higher highs as well. So a trend is defined by making higher highs and higher lows. So we've got higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, and we haven't quite made that low yet. Well, we could class this as a low actually. And it looks like we're heading to this sort of price around this trend line, which is great. And what I would actually like to do is, as traders, we're always looking to enter our trades on a better price and look for the best price possible. And the Fibonacci is a great way of being able to find the best price in the market, as the market always moves in waves. So as we're potentially starting an uptrend, I'll quickly put in my uptrend lines. Perfect. And again, you can see that we've had like a little inner trend line break here, which is a slight confirmation that we may actually be going towards this trend line, which is brilliant, which is close to the moving averages as well. And that's where I'm looking to kind of enter in at a price. And then I'll use the Fibonacci just to confirm what price I kind of want to get in at. So with this, the market always moves in waves, and I'll zoom in and you can see the market moves in A, B, C, D movements. So you got A, B, C, a pullback to a red level, and then we've hit a red target here. And the same again, A, B, C, we pulled back to an orange level, so we had an orange target. And then we got A, B. So we're kind of in that cycle on the smaller time frames of coming into that C pullback, especially around these sort of areas around here. So anywhere around this sort of price, around this area, that's where I'll be looking to enter. So on that C pullback, whether it be a trendline retest, whether it be an up trendline touch, or a bounce off of the moving averages, we got the confirmation of the C pullback on the fib to go ultimately for this target. And the way that I'm going to approach this currency is entering buy positions on those C pullbacks. So I hope this has been quite a nice update for you guys. I know that I only did the analysis a week ago, but it does go to show that the indicators used are and the scripts used are doing a very, very good job. And it looks like the Swiss franc is having a good reversal at the moment. It's definitely worth having a look into. If you do have any questions, or if you did find this video useful, please let me know. Please contact us, and we're happy to help where we can, and we appreciate any feedback that you have. Thank you, and take care, guys. See you later.